How's everyone doing? I think right now we have two people connected. How you doing, Andrew? How's everything going with your machine? Mike. Hey, Mike. I'm gonna try to set. We're gonna wait a little bit so we can start with some users connected. The people that doesn't need to be, you know, scrambling around a video. So we're gonna try to have some users here. Let me put the phone on mute really quick. And I actually going to go and put the live on my phone so I can actually see the chat, guys, because I usually don't see it on the computer. It's a little bit glitchy. Glad to hear Mike. Is audio okay? I have one of the printers right now. There, the phone is kind of loud, so I hope audio is okay for everyone. And I have a nice little camera today that we're gonna use to set everything up around here. That is also holding my microphone, which I don't know where to put my phone. I guess here it's gonna be a little quiet. Let me try to boost that audio. Is that better? Let me know if the audio is a bit better there. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. I'm usually setting these things for other people. I never set a live for myself. I'm usually the guy behind the camera, not on camera, but we'll see. So we have Andrew and Mike. I believe there is a couple other users that, for whatever reason, they are talking to me on Facebook. Let's see what they say. Let's announce this really quick on Facebook so people know that we are live. You guys start strong this week. Is everything going as planned? Monday, just slow, you know. Nobody really likes Mondays. Also, you got the Dragon and you got the Devil1P. That's cool. I've been using Devil 1 since the very first version. And let me tell you, there is no way I can use the laser without it. I just get to spoil. That's the right word, spoil. I mean, you can use it, but it's a lot better. It's a whole different machine. That's for sure. Mark, I saw you for a second. I think. All right, so let's do a quick pass of what we're gonna be doing today. So yesterday I assembled all the basics on Xtool 10 watt, the Pro machine, and I have the red and gold. I have another laser on the other side and different other stuff. But so we actually assembled the whole machine. and I kind of gave a little bit my, you know, tweaks of what I like to do or what I don't like to do, so we can have the machine properly aligned and things like that. But I want to put something for you guys here so you can, I don't know, you are going to be able to see this part. I will see. Let's pull this out and clean. We have a nice little camera here. So these are part of the limit switches that we are going to be installing today. And these in specifically are Y on the front, and this is Y on the back. So on your right side on the machine, these two for the back and for the front. I have already installed X, and I have already installed um, left and right. I did that before I actually mount the gantry on the computer. Oh, sorry, on the laser, and everything was set up just to work. I wasn't really the work computer. So ideally for me was to do all this before I get the machine completely set up. So now I just have to put these two. But let me show you really quick uh, what we're gonna be doing. Here I have this camera that is going to help me. I'm gonna move it. So let's change to that one. Here you go. All right. So you know that this is the button from Xtool. You see a couple drag chains here. I'll explain that in a second. And here you see this little hole. That's for this specific limit switch. Okay. So it comes with a butterfly nut. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this limit switch in this section. So let's do that really quick. So in the beginning, everything is a little bit more about the preparation. So that's what we want to do, preparation, and have a kind of a clean slate. I recommend to anyone that is doing all these modifications to remove all the cables. Just remove all the cables so you can do your installation clean, easy. I'm gonna hold this here, and I'm gonna grab the screw. Actually, it's in the middle, and I'm gonna pass it right down there. There it is. So with one hand, or just hold the screw so it doesn't go up, and with the other one, your butterfly nut, you wanna tie this nice in just a couple of turns. Again, like always, I recommend not to over tighten in the beginning because you're going to be setting up some stuff. So a couple things that you're gonna notice is there is a little rail here, so you can move the limit actually forward like this, or push it all the way to the back. And the reason Kobe has that design is because, for example, let's imagine that you buy from me or any other user a Z-axis to extend your machine up and down. When you do that, you're gonna find then when you push the gantry all the way forward, the laser is going to hit the edge first before actually touching the limit. So you want at that point move the limit a little bit forward so it will be activated before you hit the front. So that's one part that we have already set. Let's do the other part on the back. Let's move this cable here. So this is the other limit that goes to the back. So this one, let's rotate this machine so I don't need to move the whole camera. Let's hold the cables. Here we go. So now this is the back. Here we go. Let's move this right there. So this is the screw that we are going to use, and you are going to notice that there is a little guy here. That guy is to hold it in place there, right? Like so. So we're gonna take this screw. It's a 2.5, remember, and 4. So let's take this out. Let's put this in place. If you don't drop the screw, will help. And the holes are a little bit tight, so I'm gonna just go first here to make sure that it's going through the hole. There we go. Just a little bit. See? First, and then I'm going here and tie this down all the way here, nice and tight. So your first test is move this back. Let me move this cable out. And I don't think you hear, but there is a little click. So that's what you want to make sure that it's happening. Okay, just a little click in there. So we have this one here installed. We have the front installed. I have here mine. Mine is a little bit of my own modification. I'm still using the same limit that Kobe provide, the same cables that Kobe provide. And on the back here, let me move this like so. There you go. And in this part in here is the limit that comes with a kit on Devil1. This is just a simple slide in place. So I'm installing all these on the Pro. Since I'm using the Pro machine, a couple things that I did was in these two holes are usually attached the limit switches from the Pro, right? And then there's another one on the other side, and they're connected with a cable. I removed them. So I passed my cable, or the cable that came with the Devil1, all the way across to just keep it in there. In that way, I have a cleaner look. That's all I did there. So at this point, I don't know if anyone has any questions about the limit switches that comes with Devil or anything like that. Hey Oscar, how you doing, man? All right. So there is a couple other things to consider. Let's move this like so we can work this out. All right. So the cables. You will notice that I have the cable that has Y and S. There's another set of cables, Y and L. Okay, that is how we know the cable is for the standard machine or for the large or extended. So it's important to understand what machine you have. You don't want the extra long cables for no reason. So let's separate these. This is one cable here, and this is the S. Here we go. So I'm going to put these ones apart, use it for another machine. So we have Y. So remember, Y is the frame that we just add the limit switches. And we have one that goes in connect with a dual version. In this case, it's a little bit different because the dual will go to, I'm gonna imagine that lengthwise, yes. So you will see, you go through this. There are two connected here, right? And one ends first and the other one keeps going. So the short one, you want to use it for the front, okay? And the long one, you want to use it for the back. Does that make sense? I need to adjust a little bit more the tension here. I didn't do it yesterday apparently. Let's put this one here. It's a little off. There we go. That one is fine. All right. So everything in this machine is matter of how you are going to manage your cables. You can even use these for the back and the front, and you will be able to use this on your Devil1. So it's just matter of what is more comfortable for you to use and how you are going to use it. That's literally what it is. So we're gonna try with this and first, because why not? So we're gonna use one terminal coming out of Devil. The dual terminal is going to be the one in the front, and the single one that connects from it is going to be the one on the back. In that way we can have the cables a little bit better managed. That's pretty much what I did for this part as well. The cable, one single one, the double one is on the limit switch, and then the long one is the one that goes to the Devil. So we're gonna use the same concept for my Y switch. Now we talk about the drag chain. We're gonna install a drag chain. So you want to do all this cable management before you do anything else, because if not, you're going to end up with lots of cables and no way to pass them through. So let's start working on that part. So let's put the cable. We know what cable we're gonna use. It's here. This is the cable for the laser module, so I'm gonna put it on the side. Here are my two axes, Y and X. So how you know which one is Y, which one is X? So here's the thing. When you buy Devil1, hey Dennis, how you doing? When you buy Devil1 and you buy the version of the drag chain for the Devil1, you get the cables like this, and then besides that you get the air hose separate. In my case, I'm not going to solve the air hose here because I use my machine all the time, on and off, and I take it apart all the time. The other Xtool that I have back behind me right now don't even have all the cables for the autofocus set. So basically I have all the cables all over the place. And the machine looks right now like literally the trunk or something just is in the air. Everything's hanging right now. It's a mess. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna work and prepare our drag chains with the cables that we're going to be using. How you know what is X and what is Y? The only difference between these two is one link, right? So let me show you. Let's go here. All right. So I pre-opened this one. I just keep a couple closed so I can explain how you open them. Some users got problems with that as well. So this has one extra link than X. The reason why it's really exact is because Xtool enclosure. The Xtool enclosure is really tight and doesn't have a lot of room for nothing going off the frame. So based on that is how we measure, and I have all the drag chains. How you open a drag chain. So I know the light is not ideal, but let me show you this. This is a hinge, and this little gap in here is where you want to lift the door, just like these ones. So this is a drag chain that you don't need to pass through the cables. You don't need to go through it. You need to lay down the cables. And it's a small drag chain. Therefore, you're going to need to take the sleeves of the cables off. So it's a single motion. Put something small, not necessarily sharp. It can be a really tiny screwdriver. Put it there, push and lift, like so. Okay, let me repeat that. And they open right and instant. There you go. So you have now your drag chain all open. So you might want to pass your hose because I provide a hose with this, so you might lay your hose as well. So what we're gonna do here is this one is fine, but at the end you will see that this one is up, so you cannot lay down the cable like that, and you don't want to be passing, the connectors down here. So when you turn this, you will see here. Let's see if the light catches. You will see here a little. There's like a little notch that where you lift this and take it out. Super simple. So for people that say, why you take so long to shift your drag chain? Well, when I send the drag chains that are for Xtool, they came already pre-installed all the cables. That means in each order, doesn't matter if it's extended or not, I'm laying down all the cables and opening all these doors per order. So that's a lot. Okay, just to let you know. Oh, Daniel is too slow to send order sometimes. Ah, yeah, I know. I'm slow. I mean, take time. And everything is made by hand. With love, sometimes. There you go. Just dropping stuff. Here you go. Alright, so now we have this. We have this cable that we are going to put on as well. So let me switch to the camera that shows the whole thing, the entire work table. There we go. Yes, I'm prepared. Allegedly. So number one is the hardware. What is coming with these drag chains that you need to use? So let's check here. There's a little QR code. This QR code is going to show you an instruction manual, how to put everything together. Okay, just scan it. There's a PDF that it will show you everything you need to know. And yes, I'm opening one that it's ready to be packed. But that's the beauty, right? There we go. Don't forget your sticker. Fire the laser. We want to put this at the end of my videos with this machine. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna install pretty much everything, set everything ready, and then we're gonna go through in another video probably down this week the configuration setup and everything on Devil1, and also the autofocus. We're gonna play with the autofocus as well. Okay, so things that you will get on the drag chain: a little bag with some hardware, screws, nuts, and a little clip to manage your drag chain on the side frame, cover for the front. And we're gonna talk about this one because Xtool changed a little bit the size of the screw, so that is what is going on. Yes, that's correct, Dennis. You need to remove all the cables. You have a drag chain that came with absolutely everything on install, and you are going to set the Devil1 cables. You need to have the cables off. We have a option for buying a drag chain for Devil1 that comes without cables. Now, what happened with that option? It's nice because we can say that you don't have extra cables laying around your house. But at the same time, you need to remember one thing. Once you do that, if you sell your drag chain, you're going to end up with a problem of, where's the working table? You're gonna end up with a problem of your machine can go only with the originals. You can't do anything else. And if you can't do anything else, when you sell the machine, you need to remove the drag chains and everything. So my recommendation is always keep the cables, and when you sell your machine, just remove your cables and put the original ones. Remove everything. Drag chains are not compatible with other ones, so it's something that you need to consider. Yes, Andrew. We are packing more and more orders. So drag chains are actually a really best, one of the best sellers that we have. The best seller so far still is our C axis, and the autofocus is catching up. But yes, I can look into your order, and if it's not packed, I can put everything without being assembled. That makes it easier for you, of course. So we're on the little detail camera again. I want to show you guys. This is what it comes inside the box for your drive chain. Your hardware, a little cover. This is for Y. This is the bracket that goes around the carrier. This is a bridge, and I like to call it bridge. It's part number 2. It connects here like so. So you can connect the carrier to a drag chain. The spacer goes up here, and this is to lift where the drag chain rests, so you have a better curve and it's not forced. So it's a really simple kit. It should have everything you need to install it, and you shouldn't have any issues, honestly. And if you have issues, you can always reach out. We are online as much as we can, pretty much every day. So a lot of people ask me about this clip and what is the main idea. So when the laser is moving on the walls, the drag chain tends to move a little bit because tension, right? So when you put a click right before the turn happens, this prevent the drag chain to be shifting in and out. And if you are on Xtool enclosure, definitely is something that you want because Xtool enclosure is really tight. That means that you don't want the drag chain be rubbering on the walls or anything like that. So this is basically what it is. So a couple things that we discussed is in this cover, the front screw originally, you know, fits fine. The problem is seems to be the new screws that they are using are 1 or 2 millimeters shorter than the original ones or the first ones that they use in the machine. So you can run short on this, and you will need probably a larger screw. I'm gonna start looking for screws and probably start providing this screw as well. All right, so we talk about the cables, right? And we were talking. Let's move this camera up so you can have a better view of everything in here. There we go. So let's put some stuff away so I don't lose stuff because that's pretty normal. All right. So we have the cable that we're going to use on the Y, and we have our plan. This is going to be the front Y limit for me. And then the immediate short one, this one is going to be the back Y limit. So knowing that, I know that my drag chain is going to be coming. Remember that this cable doesn't go inside the drag chain though, because it's the back limit. So you're gonna use something from here to there. So I know also that this is the cables that I need, and here is something easy to identify. Definitely, this is the side that goes to Devil1, and of course, this is the side that goes to your module. So, this is the front, and this goes all the way to travel in the machine. So we know what it goes in the machine. I know what goes inside Devil1. So I'm going to just kind of organize myself with these cables. And of course, I also have the other cable here that is the X, right? I have these three cables. In my case, because these three cables are not a lot, they will fit here. But let's take this out. I'm a big fan of not necessarily using the sleeves. So how you know where to cut without cutting the cable? Just push the sleeve. You will see through the sleeve. It opens up like this. So you can grab a part. And I'm gonna just use an X-Acto knife really quick. Mostly because I don't know where my scissors are. Now I'm gonna turn like this and move my cable away. Be careful, you don't want to cut your cables, please. There we go. So this is this part, and this goes all the way down here. So again, I'm gonna cut in here. I should have something a little bit better to cut than just the X-Acto knife, but again, I don't know where my stuff is right now. There we go. Separate the cable, just make sure. Once you have everything installed, Dennis, all you have to do is software configurations. This X-Acto knife is really cool. All you have to do is software configuration. So depending on how you're going to use it, what you're planning to use, or how you're planning to use your Devil1, for whatever reason my cell phone kicked me out of the chat. So I don't know, is everyone still seeing me okay? Just checking. Here's the cable going out on the cable. Here we go. So we have this cable naked, right? I want to keep the module cable just to expedite all this. There we go. And this is the other cable here. There's a lot of cables and a lot of stuff to take care of, but anyways, I'll cut this in a second with scissors once I find them. This is just for now. It looks ugly, but for now it's fine. Okay, so we have X here. So what we're gonna do is we're going to start figuring out where we're going and how we do it. So two things to understand on the drag chain. Number one, the drag chain has one end that doesn't bend. It's like one link locked. And that's the part that is going to go over like this. That's the part that is going to be like this, which means your drag chain is going to come like this, and this is the part that is going to move like that. Once it's locked like this, allow us to have a nice curvature on the limit. So, knowing that, you're going to start kind of a mocking where you're going. This is one end, and this will be my other end, like so. So let me change this camera, and definitely this is kind of a tight spot, but we're going to make it work. So let's change here. All right. Is everyone still with me? Putting this in here so I can see the chat. All right. So let's lower this. Hope that is a little bit better. All right. So first of all, we have a little dog visiting. Hey, Timber. So we're gonna check these cables. So parts that we need to do. We need to put the bracket here first. So just remove this screw. I removed it a little earlier. I like to do a little prep. So you have a little notch here for the screw. So just put this on top like so. Okay, it's not super complicated, but it has to be done in that way. Now, when you put this, there is a little V here. It's a little V. That's the back part, so that will go where the rollers are. Important to know, important to understand. There is a gap that is always going to leave here between the bridge and the side arms. Okay, that gap is important. That gap is what allows us to move this left and right to center with the dovetail. If we don't have a gap, we don't have a way to center this properly. So that gap is really important. A lot of people say that, well, your design have a gap. Well, it's because turning the screws, this goes left and right to center. All right, so the first screws, I'm gonna add these screws. Original were 12 millimeters, now they're 14 millimeters. We changed the design, now it has a nut inside, so avoids the stripping or taking out, the insert. And I don't know if I put the right ones. I think I got a 12 millimeters. This is a 14. Yes, I got the wrong one. See, I didn't separate everything like I did the other day. Here we go. Screwdriver first. And this goes in. Here we go. And this one goes in as well. There we go. And I'm going to tighten this a little bit more. So some of the users ask me, because this is something that happens too with Xtool. They have different tolerances in how big their machines or their parts and machines are. And that is a little bit hard for anyone making any kind of design with Xtool, because you don't have a specific size. So that's where I told this person, actually, she was like, you know what, my bracket for the carrier is actually smaller, and with a 14 millimeter screws, I can reach to the other side. I said that I grabbed the 18 in there. So it's not a big problem. You don't need to tie this to the point that you hear the first crack, right? So this is just to be tight enough so this can push back and forth your carrier and you don't feel this is slipping in and out. That's all you have to do. Once you have that on, the screw So this is a little trick. You can pull the screw out like this. Just hold it like this, and when you put it in, hold the little lever, and with your two fingers, start screwing this in because it will spin easier and faster. Right? So just start going like that until it bites because again it's really small, and if you are like me again, fat fingers, it's annoying. There you go, it bites. Yes. Now that it bites, I can grab it and I can start using my fat fingers. How many of you have the same problem, fat fingers for small screws? Come on, we all have that problem. Don't lie to me. So how far you want to put this on? Easy. Just look inside, and when you start seeing the screw coming in, stop because that's where you're gonna need to slide in your dovetail. So when you have this part, again, preparation first. When you have this part done, what you want to do here, so a little bit there, it's almost there. For whatever reason, Dennis, we had the conversation before. Okay, so once you have this on, once you wanna, one thing you wanna try is your module. You need to make sure that your module slides in. Okay, and there is nothing to avoid your laser to going in. There it is. That's the screw. So this is still not holding it. There it is. So you want to make sure that your module goes in. So we have this part already set. It is on. We can set another part, and this is one part. Let me tell you guys, this is one of the parts that a lot of people say like, why you don't erase the step number 5 completely. I'm gonna tell you why right now. The step 5 is quite simple, right? This notch goes in the big hole that corresponds to the laser. Let me put this camera actually also on a view so you can see what I'm talking about. Let's move this camera there. So this camera, I don't know if we can see it there. Let's do it like this. How's that? That's for the detail shot. What we're doing. Better? That works. Okay, so this part that goes here, right? Um, I said to set this part in, put the screw first, right? And in that way, you just put the screw and let it sit in there. You don't need to tie this up right now. The reason I do that is because you don't know how your cables are going to be here. And sometimes your cables are a little bit moved on the shipping, on the drag chain, and you need to stretch your drag chain completely to be able to pull the cable in or pull the cable out. And if you fix this in the beginning, and this, you're not going to be able to do that. You need to take everything apart again. So that's the reason why when you set this part in the Y, that you can still adjust where your cables are. If you adjust everything in the beginning, you cannot move it. And I know because it happens to me. So that's the whole reason. There's nothing else that explains what happened, or why I'm doing it. It's exclusively that. So, like I said before, just pass the screw, and yes, sorry, then it's 5 fingers, right? It's a little nut, so let's put it in there, and with a little bit of luck and one of those little miracles is in place. So I'm just going to hold it, and it's hold there, so there's nothing moving. It's just in there, okay. And then we're going to set this part. Now, trick like a freebie, you can probably set these two there, right? You will be able to just set this in the beginning, because once you have your entire cables and all that, this is going to lay right there. The problem with that is that the cables are going to be backwards in here, so you gotta pay attention to that. All right, moving back to this. So we talk about the one that doesn't move. That will be the one that goes here and turns to our. Let me put this camera, if the cable allows me. Here, here we go. A little higher so you can see it. All right. So this one is going to be bended here, and with the spacer, it's gonna be up to here. So knowing that, and this is the reason I made the video for the Devil1, because I have two users that they already got their Devil1, and they are like, passing the cables is impossible. Yes, that knot is insanely crazy. So I'm gonna keep the flat in this cable because again, I removed the sleeve in the other ones, and I'm not passing my air hose here, because I have a quick connect and all that I use, and I use my air compressor all the time, so I'm not going to pass that. So I'm gonna pass the cable. So knowing that this cable is going to be basically the only cable coming out here, let me grab the air hose really quick. Here it is. Okay, this is what I use on my air hose. So I have a quick release connect that I use. I like to use this thing, and it's really easy. So let's I'll take it out in a minute. It's not going to be a big deal. So you just need to pass the cable here, and the first thing you're gonna do is clip it, just like so. Since I'm not passing a lot of cables right now, it's going to be fairly easy. Now there is one more set of cables that I'm going to pass in here, and I'm going to pass this already because I'm going to be using it. So let's open this baby really quick. You know how that goes already. Who can tell me what cables I'm going to put in? Come on, you guys know. Who knows what cables I'm going to put in? I want to give you a hint. Let's see the camera see it. Yes, exactly. I'm gonna pass with all this mess, my out of focus cables, because why have why have Devil1 with no out of focus? So here's my two cables in this the module. So I'm gonna lay it down here and close it. There we go. Just pass the cables as flat as possible. You know, you want to be conscious about how you arrange your cables. So when you're doing this, your cables are, they bend easy. That's really important. So you want to be, conscious of how you are passing this. Here we go. Again, let's open this little door. What are you doing? Close. Here we go. Past the air hose. I guess I'm gonna assemble another air hose for the rest of the stuff. Now I just seen myself not taking this out, and then being upset because I didn't take it out. And let's pass this other part really quick. Here we go. And the last part goes here. Close it. There we go. So we pass everything. You want to make sure that this move, and it's not like super hard to move it. So once you have that, you can, assume, and this is the part that I was telling you can stretch this, and you can pull just the air or any of these cables a little bit more. If you have this already attached and the cable going in a different direction, that is impossible. Okay, so I need a little bit more air hose. There is going to be, I'm holding my cables with a drag chain, and I'm pulling only the air hose with the drag chain all stretched. Again, this actually shift during shipping, so you want to make sure that that works properly for you as well. There we go. Have plenty. So now that we have that, I'm gonna pull these cables up. Now that we have that, remember the little guy? This little guy? We're gonna put it back here. There we go. So we can attach this here if we want to already. It's not going to be much of a difference. So don't forget the spacer. You have the spacer right here. And we have the 3/14 millimeters screws. So we're going to select one of these screws. Easier always put it on your hands. I want to make sure that you guys are seeing what I'm seeing here. And sorry for the dark shadows. Little by little, I'm gonna make some changes, some lighting here soon. If I can know where it is, that will be easier. There is one. And I think I put it backwards. No. I think what I put backwards was the spacer. And that's something that I noticed when I designed the spacer. One of the holes on the back is a little bit. There you go. It's a little bit more narrow than the ones on the top. I change it though, but when you put all these parts that are a little mobile, they always shift here and there a little bit. Please pay attention that I'm holding this so you don't put a lot of pressure. There we go. So that is set. So the cables are going to go. So cable for the module. I don't need this to be longer. This goes with the same distance of the module. The motor most likely is going to be up here, and the air hose is usually, for me, is that enough to reach the bottom. That's more than enough cables. So what you want to do here is you want to hold this part. You want to move the carrier. Okay, you want to move the carrier just like so. But again, just hold it and move it. What you want to know is that there is any kind of excess of resistance. So in that way, you know that this part is done. Okay, so all these cables, a lot of people say that, well, the cables don't fit. Yeah, they fit, and there's room enough to put another cable if we need it. I don't know why you would put another cable, but there is. All right, so now the tricky part, this one, right? So I want to take a note in here. I have this cable that comes with, that limit switch. And this cable, I need to make sure that it's not going to bother me when this goes down to touch the back. So that is an important cable for me to see how it's going to be managed. Stay there. So for me, for the way I install this cable, where it is right now, is a little bit, it's actually bugging me, to be honest. So I'm gonna try to take this out, the limit switch. Here we go. Cable management is a nightmare. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pass this under, and this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bend this cable and pass it to the other side. Here it is. I pass it under, and I'm trying to pass this cable right now. There we go. So I don't know if you see it, but instead of going on the top, I'm going around the motor. So it's not touching that. And now that I have that there, I'm going to connect this limit switch. Oh, fingers! Help me! There we go. Okay, so that kind of solved my issue. Yes, that's actually true. My fingers never left my hand. But if I keep doing the shit that I do sometimes, I'm gonna tell you right now, Dennis, it's not long before that actually happens. You should see the crazy stuff that I work sometimes, and I realize that I'm holding something or hot, or a blade, or a saw. So right now I'm just putting this drag chain on the fixed position that is going to live. So the part, this is where you're saying you need piece of pliers. Pliers. So just grab that locking nut again here and tie this up. So this is a locking nut. The idea of this is to not get loose out of nowhere. if I can actually see it here. Here we go. There it is. It's almost there. Last couple turns. There it is. Alright, so this drag chain on the top is ready. Now let's move this little camera so we can work on the rest of the cables that are quite a lot. Okay. So again, remember, now we have an extra cable going, which is this one right here. So you have your other side of the drag chain. And again, you gotta remember that this is going to turn in this direction. So let's move this for you guys. For your convenience, let's move that here. I hope that's a good angle for you guys to see what I want to be doing here in the back and basically the entire front. Yep. Not that is supposed to be, locking something that move and vibrates should never go just randomly loose. That is true. Alright, now this part in here, I have some cables to manage down and a hose, and we need to add this cable. So at this point, I'm gonna guess that I need to remove this part. And look what I found when I turn. So I'm gonna grab just this end. There's a little end in there. Please make sure that you're not cutting the cable. Okay. Don't be like Daniel, because I cut the cable before and that's not fun. There we go. There it is. Let's try to make it faster. Sorry, Colby. I know you put all these to make it better. Nothing personal, but I need the space on the drag chain. I'm gonna put it on the side. Okay, so this part is a bit more tedious because we need actually to manage a lot better our cables and our hose. So I'm gonna separate the hose to a different side. Make sure that my cables are what they supposed to. And this is the first part, right? So we're gonna push it forward, and you can actually, and this is something that I was thinking as I was putting together this. You can actually just try to fix this in position already, because you're going to lay all down and then you can turn it. So to simplify the process, let's do that. You have your 3 screws. That was 2. 3 screws here. In fact, I'm going to use a little bit smaller screws, and just because I have those. So, for the magic of life, there we go. Screw 1. Screw 1 straight. Screw number 2. And screw number 3. I do like the ones on nylon, or the nylox. They're nice, but they're not really cheap. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to work with, again, the module cable. Okay, module cable. I'm going big to small. The stepper from the C axis. Let's open this little door. Stepper for the C axis. The limit switch on the C axis. Know that I'm putting this flat. I'm not putting it sideways. You want the cables to go flat. Please understand that you need the cables to go flat. This other cable is the limit switch on X. And now I'm going to pass the hose on the corner. And I'm going to lock the first. So now I have my basic layout. Alright, so I'm going to do the same here. Cables all the way to the back to pass them. There we go. The second set of cables, the limit and the motor, always flat. Nice and flat, lay the cables down. The limit switch that we have in there. There we go. So my hose. Come on, hose. And I'm gonna start closing the couple just to keep everything in place. So for the hose here, you want to have a little bit slack, okay? You don't want the hose to be pinched. So just make sure of that. There we go. So if everything looks okay, start closing everything. You will wonder what I'm gonna do with this. I'm actually going to just use a little strap to push these cables like so, just to keep it nice and organized, but I don't need to put that inside this rack chain. Alright, we're gonna keep going a little bit more. I'm sure I'm already off the view. You can see me in the big camera, but not the desk. Here we go. Everything is inside here. That's actually a lot of work. I understand why this customer complaining, like, "Whoa, this is a lot of stuff, and I feel like I got an incomplete product." No, you gotta do it yourself product. That's a lot different than an incomplete product. Anyways, so we have this one here, and this one will tie it up in there, and you wanna move it. You wanna move it to see how everything is tied. So you will see here. Number one, you will see there that the camera is passing over. There we go. This is touching, and I think I'm actually one link short. I think I put the X on the Y and the Y on the X. Just talking and forgot about it. So if that is the case, and this is something again that I've been considering. Some people want a bigger look, so I might just start putting a couple extra links. I'm gonna start putting a couple extra links on your kits. Before I do that, because I think it's not really short. I think it's just me that I'm seeing everything for a weird angle. Yep, it's just me seeing everything for a weird angle. It's not short. Whew, for a second. All right. So this is touching the limit on the back. With that being said, let's grab this baby and let's put you guys here so I can still see you. So I have this on. So what we need to do here, remember the little link? All right, this little link. Me. If you go to the website on Live Pixel Create, then is one of the options is that you can, when you buy the Devil One drag chain, doesn't matter if you get for the Pro or no Pro, because it's the same drag chain. I just put it in both places so people don't need to go and try to find it everywhere. There we go. So let's take this screw. You guys remember this screw, right? On the corner. So I'm gonna take this screw out really quick. What you guys think about this camera setup? You like it? For tutorials and stuff, I have another camera actually. One coming tomorrow that is going to be so you can see my pretty face. And besides that one, I have another camera that I want to show you right now, really quick. I don't know if I can bring it here. This is completely full of cables. I don't know if you are going to be able to see it, but it has a little filter for the laser. So when I put the laser on, this doesn't, blind the camera with light. All right, so this thing, and this is, let's put it like this, and this is a kind of an important part that I explained a couple times. People still don't get it very well. Probably it's my fault, didn't explain well. When you push this all the way forward, right? So my limit switch is a little forward right now. There we go, all the way forward. You see that the drag chain is making a turn. So in this turn is where the move off happens. That's where you use this. That's the reason of this thing. So what you do is you find the first part, put it down there, just push it in there, and this will fix into the place so you don't have the wobbling out of the frame. So just open it a little, take the double side tape cover out, and push the frame part. That's it. It's super simple. That's the whole purpose of this. Nothing else. There is no science. This is a straight up just to hold your drag chain. So you have now the limit on the back. Here it is. There you go. And you have the limit on the front. We have one there. Cables in the back so they don't get trapped. And there. So we have everything we need with the drag chain. The drag chain is set. All my cables are ready to be used. This cable needs to be managed because it's not really nice like that. So a little zip tie. Always try to keep try to get some zip ties and keep them at hand. So I'm gonna put this one here. There, you don't need to over tie these to destroy your drag chain or cables. I'm gonna put another one. Just trying to go with a natural turn on place. I don't wanna force a double turn or anything like that. So this there. Again, you don't need to super tie this. It's just to hold it in place. And here, just one more. Please do not put a zip tie on the hose. And yes, I'm saying that because I did it before. I grabbed the hose by mistake. And another here. That's it. Now that we have these things there, just enough to hold it in place. Let's take the excess. There we go. So far, so good, right? Now we're going to start with some interesting stuff. Now, guys, give me 1 second. I need to grab a cup of water. All right, sorry about that, but talking dries out. I throw a little. All right, so we have all the cables. They're all coming here. So this is something interesting that I want to show you. You guys see here the cover, right? So the cover has a little hole in here on the side, and the other part is completely covered. And then there's a little wall. That hole that you see there is for this little guy, the air hose. So the air hose, when you put this on, let's put it like this right now. It has a free out. It's just a little hole, so this can go out and not really bother or be pinched. So that's the reason of that section here. That's all it is. There's no magic on that. Okay. So I have all the cables here. If you have an extension, let me tell you one thing. We do have, these are the cables for X, no, sorry, for Y. So I'm gonna put these ones in a second. If you have an extension, we do have extended cables for the out of focus. You just add it to your card with the rest, so you don't need to worry about it. So this is the part that I was telling you about the screws. This screw apparently is coming a little bit shorter now, and we're about to find that out because I assembled this machine out of the box yesterday. So if the screw is coming shorter than it should be, is weird for me. I think it's going to be fine, but again, we will see. So this goes there. Maybe I can do this a little bit more, countersink. I don't know if my chat is working or not, or you guys are just silently watching. Silently watching. There we go. Let's put this like so. It goes like this out. Remember this cable or the hose. I'm gonna pass the hose nice over here. I put it backwards because my hose should be on the top here, but it's okay, no biggie. I just gotta turn this properly so nothing pinch nothing. Thank you, Dennis. There we go. There it is. Here it is. And let's see about this guy. It fits. It really does. So I guess some users have that issue with the cable coming shorter, and some others not. I have a cat walking around. Okay, so this is there. Just make sure that nothing is too pinched. When I need to move a little bit my drag chain with the hose because I think the hose is a little pinched, and that's something that I did wrong. I laid the cable flat and I forgot that in this part on X, the hose needs to be on the first layer and then the cables, and not like in this part. The reason is because then it bends backwards here when I put everything in. But that's an easy fix. I'll take it apart for, like here, and turn it. That's not terrible. Happens once already. Like I said, this is the second time that I'm putting it on. Well, not second, like the time number 10 that I put it on the machine. So this is going to be my limit for X. So for all the users that are buying Devil1, this is what I'm going to be doing, and it's something that I've been thinking on, but I still didn't have the right way to do it, if that makes more sense. So a little bit ago, I designed clips. Yeah, I'm probably the only person on the planet that makes red clips. Here you go. So what I was thinking is to add the clips like this. So when you have your cable going through the back limit, you know, you can have 1, 2, and 3. So the cable is through a clip. In that way you don't have everything hanging, because you have a drag chain now, and with the Devil1, this is going to be the only cable that is not used on any kind of, you know, hold. I don't know if that makes sense for you guys. So you think, what you think about having these clips for your kit? Of course, will be black. I have the black ones here. Move this a little forward so I can open it. There we go. 1. Let's put 1 here. 2. And the third one. There we go. So we have 3. We have the cable, so we can just pass the cable like so. Saying this is one of those cables that is not going to move anywhere. There is really no reason to try to pass this cable through a drag chain. So a little hold on the cables will be the best solution to keep these, you know, limits out of the way. Now we're going to connect this one. Let's see if I can have you guys seen this part. A bunch of cables in there, but let's move it. This cable's out. All these cables out of the way without putting it inside my cup of water. Alright, and this is the other cable for the front switch. And for now, I'm gonna push this forward so I can see where it is. So the guy said that it's going up like so. There we go. We have it in place. Then I'm going to push this to the location that I need it. All right. I'm gonna pull all these cables, all these wires out. Okay. You guys ready? Let's open the Devil1 and see where all these cables goes. Now that's the fun part. Nothing like something cold to drink. All right, let me put this thing that I'm moving on the little camera. As you see me here, that's a microphone. All right, so Devil1 is actually super easy. So I'm gonna maximize this view right now for you guys so you can see it properly. All right, so Devil1, where to connect all the cables, how to connect all the cables. That's one of the things. There is an instruction manual that is, in my opinion, is very easy to follow. I'm not going to show it right now. I want to show other stuff there. But this is the main thing. You gotta just flip this over when you get your Devil1. There's 4 screws on the legs. So you're gonna take these 4 screws out. So these are actually a 2mm hex. So I'm gonna use my 2mm hex right there. I untied it a little bit, so it's gonna be easier. Here you go. There's another one in here and one in here. So this is really hard to take it out if you don't have like a nail, but there is a little hole in here, so don't press it hard, just push it gently and it will come up. Alright, so careful, there is a cable that connects to the fan. So you can put this on the side. You should have enough slack to move around without breaking anything. Alright, let's talk about this part because this is where people get a little bit intimidating, connecting cables and doing stuff. So let's zoom in here to see it better. Alright, let's bring it up, bring it home so I can see it too. All right, so I'm going to point a couple of things here to explain how this goes and what is what. So on the instructions that you get from Devil1, you're going to notice that there are a couple of things highlighted depending on where you go. And they're also on the main board. You can see them on the main board. So you're going to see number 1 on the main board say X, Y, Z proof, right? And then there's a 12C. We're going to talk about that one. In this part, you will see one with 3 pins and one with 2 pins. This is where your laser is going to be connected. Okay, and then you have this part in here. You see Z motor, Y2 motor, Y1 motor, and X motor. If you wonder what these big blue things are, they are basically heat skins. These are to dissipate the heat from the controllers for the motors. Okay, this flappy thing This is the Wi-Fi antennas, okay? And you will see the antenna is connected down here. If you want to buy a different antenna or stuff like that, you can, and you can plug it right in this port. I don't remember the name and the size exactly of what it is. Uh, if you have any question right now of what you are seeing, please put it on your comments on the chat. I will be happy to help you. I'm gonna pull the cables so you can see where I connect everything. Okay, so the only cables that I don't have at my hand right now, and it's because I didn't got them out of the box per se, are the stepper motors. So there's a stepper cable that should go through the drag chain. I didn't put it on because I have to rebuild all this machine after we finish the video, and I gotta do some little of my things on it. But let's talk about this. XS2, right? And we know that this cable goes connect to a bridge, an X, there was the gantry, where it's two cables. So nice, good, Dennis. That's good. So when you see the X, okay, please do not connect the cable on top because you gotta close this. Go through the little door on the back, okay, and look for X. X motor, X motor, X motor, and this is a limit switch. So you keep looking to the vertical ones on the back, and let's go, fat fingers, one more time. Today is the day. There we go. It's connected. You gotta push it down to make sure, please. All right. We have also here the cables. We're gonna talk about this cable and what it does too in a second. Let me move the screwdriver. I need it right now. Here is the other one, the other limit. Y. I'm gonna put Y in here. Again, go through the little window, right, and plug this in. Now, pay attention. I'm not paying attention, and I'm about to do something weird. There is two little lines here. I don't know if you see it. Those needs to align with the two lines on the port. So don't force it. Just pay attention. I was just putting it without paying attention to. So once you're there, just push it down straight so you don't bend any pins. There we go. Now, we have the C limit. And you will notice that this is in a different color. This doesn't come with a kit. This is part of my kit with the autofocus. So what you want to do is connect this not on the C-axis limit. You want to connect this on prof. What we have on the autofocus, and let me show you really quick. I have one in here. If I can grab it, there we go. So what we have in here, I need to cover this thing because it's going to fall apart. Is a little bit of a hybrid limit, basically. Prof, test a distance, right? So you have the limit switch. So when this goes down and gets activated, like this, what it does is tell the machine did it touch something and needs to retract based on the code that we have. So this is just a little cable because it's a quick connect on the front and you can have multiple, but this is the idea. So we're going to connect that. We want to connect it in probe instead the Z. The main idea of this again is to have the probe or the sensor touching the material and proving a distance. Okay? And I just connected where I say don't connect it on the top. So let's do it here. There we go. So now you will see here you have your three main limits and sensor connected. I wanted to connect the motors. I still don't have the cable on the motors set on this one. I need to do it, but I do have the motor for the Z-axis. And this will go, of course, motor on Z. So the cables for your laser. So you will see you have three main cables. One weird white cable, right? And then you have these other two. Of course, the one with three pins go in three, two go in two. Make sure that direction of your cable is important. Again, don't force nothing to go in. And you will notice here, hopefully you can see it. You will notice, let's see if you can see this, that one is facing out and the other one is facing in. So pay attention to that. Don't break stuff. Okay. And let's connect one. So the three, one goes facing inside. Here we go. Let's try to do it without much problems. I'm gonna help me. I need a little help to push this down. There we go. And now we're going to do the two cables. The one is facing out. I don't know why they do the cables like one on out and one inside. But hey, I don't design mainboard, so I don't know why they did it. Probably so you don't confuse cables, most likely. Now, this white cable is the one that you're going to use for turning on and turning off. See, guide light here. So this is going to turn on and off your red cross laser. And you have three little legs here. The first one is used. And there are two that are golden. It might be golden, it might be silver, it don't matter. It goes in the middle. Let's push it right there. Okay. So after you have all connected, we have the laser installed, we have the limits installed. I need to install my motors. I need to install my Y motor, and I need to install my X motor. That will be X and Y1. Okay, and well, I have the C motor as well that comes from the machine. So here, and this is the Z motor that it will go with Z. It will go there. Okay, so once you have all installed, you're gonna start the installation of your machine. So we're not going to do the installation of the machine, but I do want to show you. I do want to show you a couple of stuff really quick online. So I want to show you this really quick. So this is the information and the page for Devil1 that you're going to be using. So things that you have to do with Devil1. And this is where everything came nice and pretty with Kobe. He literally put all the information that you need together for you already, so you don't need to be fishing. So there is the first video that tells you what the Devil One does, and he has a Devil One here that was kind of a first hybrid before the production version. Uh, I recommend you to read that and watch the video. It's really nice and really easy to follow. And there is a couple things. Definitely, you need to use Lightburn. That's a must. And there is a couple things for the Flash utility. So the Flash utility, and I'm not going to do the whole thing. You can do it with Kobe website. It has everything there. When you go at geeks@large.com, um, it's really easy to follow. But please remember to number one, you gotta download the Flash utility. Depending if you're using Windows or Mac, it's really important to understand that you have to flash the machine with the firmware if you wanna. The firmware, the firmware that he has a recent update on December, so you want to use this version of it. If you are using our C-axis, our C-axis use a different files. You can download those files on the out for the autofocus here. Download everyone configuration files. And yes, the files were made by Kobe. We didn't do the files. Kobe actually was the one developing the files for the configuration. So everything is up to his standards. We didn't want to tweak or change nothing that will break. So yes, Dennis. So if you use the files from Kobe directly on his website, he is using Y for the C-axis once you use the files that we have on our website. So if you use the ones for the R2, he mentioned that he was going to use Y2. I'm not exactly sure because I'm not a heavy rotary user with the Devil One. I'm about to start using it a lot more, but for sure, one of the things that you need to make sure is that you use the right LV set file. And I'm gonna say that the right one, if you have an autofocus, it will be these ones. So when you open these ones, it's going to give you 4 sets. One is the Devil One autofocus normal, and the second one is the autofocus Y for the rotary. So you are going to be using Y for the rotary to be able to keep using the autofocus over the tumblers. Because if not, if you're using Z, it will be weird for the machine. It gets confused. Although we don't use Z currently as a limit. It's just the motor. Yes, the on the new Devil One, it goes to Z motor, the rotary or the chuck. Once you install the LV set with this, the rotary will be as Y. Like on Xtool, regularly you disconnect one and connect the other one. It's going to be about the same thing, and you're going to use it on Y. And you select that directly on Lightburn where it's connected or whatever. So you can keep using the extension cable that have, everything, and starting on all the pro things I'm putting on the website. Actually, tomorrow I believe we are putting optional. It's going to be $5, but we are going to put an extension cable for Y, so you can connect and disconnect, quick connect and disconnect the rotary. I use for my rotary, and I think I have it here. I can maybe, or I took it out. I think I took this out of my drawer. No, here it is. This is what I've been using for a for quite some time. Let me show you in this camera again. Boom. This is what I've been using actually for quite some time for the rotary, because I connect this in this case directly on Y. Here you go. You connect it on Y, and I can connect here the cable for the regular rotary and the other cable for the chalk. And when I turn it off, I don't need to worry about it. So I can connect basically my two things, or my regular Y and my regular rotary in this. Yeah, there is a cable for the rotary. That's correct. It comes on the kit. So people that didn't got a new kit, they just got a basic. They might need a cable, but if not, you have that. That's absolutely right. So this is the files library LV set. So you can use Y and still use the autofocus to touch over the tumbler and make sure that you are on focus. That's basically what it is. So that's it. That's basically what it is, guys. I hope this was a little bit instructional, how to put some stuff together and what is what on the Devil One. I don't want to go through the whole Devil One installation and everything. I need to make a lot of rooms before I can turn on this laser. If you are curious about how bad the situation of me and the machine is, let me show you. This is my space right now. Let me turn this camera because this is going to be hilarious. And bing, this is how everything looks right now with my other laser. So you can have an idea what I'm dealing with. So the red machine is going there, and that's where I'm going to finish all the configuration. So I have everything almost ready. I'm gonna finish the basic setup. I'm gonna take that machine apart, and making sure that you want to have all your cables routed properly. Take your time, route your cables flat. Don't rush it. Don't rush it. You want to have this as flat as possible. You want to make it easy enough, not just for you but also for your machine, because you don't want the machine having resistance when it moves and overheating a stepper motor and backslashing basically on your work. Yeah, I know, I know. So your Z-axis should be on the way. We drop it today. This is the camera that is going to be inside the laser. Just like you guys see here, has a little filter that I cut a piece of shield to put on. And this machine is going to be inside the laser. Once we have everything, this is going to be part of the laser. So that's another of the cameras and stuff and the setup that I have there. We have everything set in a way that we're going to be able to just align absolutely everything for you, and we're going to be able to have view of what we are cutting while we're working on something. We have the light burn as well. Here is again. Let me show you. We have light burn view on this, so we can actually see what we're doing, and at the same time we're gonna have the laser cam with a little thumbnail to allow us to see what we want to see. So we're trying to put all the cameras that we need to make sure that the learning experience and everything is on point. So thank you very much, guys. As always, if you are not subscribed, please subscribe. That actually help us tremendously. Leave your comments below. I would love to see your comments. If you have any questions, you know how to reach out to me. You can send us an email. You can contact on the web. We have a chat on the website, or you can just send us a message through Facebook or leave a comment below. Please keep up keep up the good work. I know a lot of you guys are growing and making more and more stuff with the laser, and I'm very happy to be part of that journey with you. And as always, go ahead and fire the laser. Have a good night.